ועשו לי מקדש, ושכנתי בתוכם, ואנחנו נברך מעתה ועד עולם.
Bruchim Habaim, welcome everyone to Temple Israel. As we pass sundown on Friday, we approach Shabbat, we approach our day of rest as we get ready to step back from everything that goes on during the week and focus on the people around us, focus on prayer, on God, focus on ourselves a little bit, and this week focus on celebration because we get to celebrate the bat mitzvah of Noah Skarbnik, and we're happy to have her and her whole family with us tonight as we begin her bat mitzvah weekend. And Noah is going to lead us in Kabbalat Shabbat tonight, and tomorrow we'll be called to the Torah for the first time. We welcome in Shabbat with the bracha, the blessing over the Shabbat candles. Flames mark the beginning and the end of Shabbat. So I'm going to invite everyone to please rise. And Noah, would you come on up with your family, your parents, and your brothers to help us welcome in Shabbos?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom. May be seated. Noah, you stay with us up on the bima. We turn in the Sidurim, in the prayer books, smaller of the two books, to Kabbalat Shabbat on page 11. Let us go and sing to God. Let us trumpet praise to our protector. Filled with thanks, we greet God as we raise our voices in song, the Chuner Anana at the top of page 11.
Lechuneranena, 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 liadonai. Lechuneranena, 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 liadonai. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu nikadma pana betoda. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu bismerot naria lo. Lechuneranena, lechuneranena, lechuneranena liadonai. Lechuneranena, lechuneranena, lechuneranena liadonai.
Heaven shall be glad and the earth rejoice, the sea and its fullness roar, the meadows and all that grows in them exult, even the trees of the forest sing praise to God. Let's turn to page 14. In the middle of the page, Yismechu Hashamayim.
Yismechu Hashamayim.
Hashamayim.
Yismechu Hashamayim.
Hashamayim.
Yismechu Hashamayim. V'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam, yiram hayam, yiram hayam, umla'o. Yiram hayam, yiram hayam, yiram hayam, umla'o. Yismechu Hashamayim.
Hashamayim.
Yismechu Hashamayim.
Hashamayim.
Yismechu Hashamayim. V'tagel haaretz.
Continue on page 20, the bottom of the page at the red arrow, Romemu.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtahavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtahavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtahavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtahavu lehar kodsho.
Let's turn to page 23 as we welcome the Shabbat Kala, the Shabbat bride, with the words of Lecha Dodi. Noah will lead us in the first two stanzas on the page. And then we continue with the final stanza, Boi v'shalom, come in peace. And then when we reach that final stanza, the tradition is to rise in our places and to face the door of the congregation. Page 23, Lecha Dodi.
Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Shamor vezachor bedibor echad, Hishmiyanu el hamiyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. L'shemo tifaret ve'litila la 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 la, lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor haberacha, merosh mikedem nesucha. So ma'aseh b'machshavati la 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 la, lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Boi b'shalom eteret ba'ala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzahala, tov emunei yam segula. Boi kala, la 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 la, lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela.
May be seated. Thank you, Noah, for getting us started. Let's turn to page 27. It's good to thank you, O God, to sing to your name most high, to proclaim your love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night. Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat, page 27.
Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Uzamer l'shimcha elyon. Ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Lehagid baboker chastecha. Be'emunatcha ba'aleilot. Alei azor va'alei navel. Alei higayon bechinor. Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Tov lehodot לאדוני, וזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. צדיק התמר יפרח, כארז בלבנון יזכה, שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו. עוד ינבו בשיבה, דשנים ורעננים יהיו, להגיד כי ישר אדוני, צורי ולא הבלטה בו.
Page 29.
Adonai malaki ulavesh, lavesh Adonai ozi tazar, afti konze belepatimot. Mikolot maim rabim, adirim ishbereyam, adir bamarom Adonai. Erotecha nemnu me'olebetcha navakodesh, Adonai le'orech yamim.
Invite everyone to please rise as we take a moment to share words of bracha, words of blessing. The oldest words of prayer in the Jewish tradition are the priestly blessing. May God bless you and keep you. The words that Aaron and the priests shared with the entire people on special occasions in ancient Israel. The words that we share with our children at home on Friday night, asking God to give them the blessings that are right for them. Here at Temple Israel, we share it with our fellow congregants, with our neighbors, the people around us. See someone sitting by themselves, go over, say hello. Feel free to invite them to join you. We put our arms around each other, and we share the bracha.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha, Ken yehi ratzon.
May God bless you and keep you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha, Ken yehi ratzon.
May God lift up God's face toward you, and may God be gracious unto you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Ken yehi ratzon yasem lecha shalom. Ken yehi ratzon yasem lecha shalom. Ken yehi ratzon.
God grant you shalom, grant you peace. Ken yehi ratzon. May be seated. As we turn to our prayer for healing, Shabbat prayer, we think of the people in our lives in need of physical and spiritual well-being this Shabbat. If you'd like to include someone in this prayer, I invite you to rise in your place and to share the names of the people that you're praying for this Shabbat. That Kol HaCholim and all those who are ill join together the prayer for healing.
Yisheberach avotenu mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Yisheberach imotenu mikor habracha leavotenu. Blessed those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Turn to the Mourner's Kaddish on page 30, and I invite those in mourning or marking a yortzeit to rise and join me in the words of the Kaddish. Yitkadal, v'yitkadash, shemei rabbah, v'yalma divera kirutei, v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon, u'vyomechon, u'chayei, dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala, u'vizman kariv, v'imru, amen. Yehi shemei rabbah mevorach leolam u'lomei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudshah brihu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav v'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. You may be seated. Good Shabbos, everyone. So tomorrow morning we read Parshat Mishpatim, and we're introduced to a new part of the Torah. The first part of the Torah that deals with the idea of Jewish civil law, the laws, the practices that would guide our ancient ancestors when they came to the land of Israel. How do they decide what's fair? How do they decide what's right in the new country that they're going to set up? Tomorrow, Noah is going to talk about one of the more well-known verses, one of the first times that we're told not to oppress the ger or the stranger. But much of Parshat Mishpatim is very unfamiliar to the average reader. It deals with things that we don't think of in the realm of Jewish practice because it deals with civil law, interpersonal relations. It deals with laws of damages. What happens if you cause damage or hurt somebody else? And some of the cases in it talk about things like if you own an ox that gores your neighbor, what are you responsible for? What if that ox had gored somebody else before? Are you more responsible? Or it deals with the case of a pit on your property that a neighbor falls into. In case you're curious, the ox in Hebrew is called a shor. The pit is called a bor. They rhyme very nicely, shor and bor, and there's a lot of ink spilled in the Talmud about those areas of discussion. But they're not very familiar to most people sitting in the pews. And law codes are very interesting if you like Talmudic study or if you're an attorney who likes this particular type of insight that you get from the law into the society that it's written for, but it's a little bit dry compared to some of the stories that we've been reading until now after reading the story of the Exodus. Well, a couple of years ago, I had one of my favorite experiences when I took a team of teenagers from Louisville to Houston for something that was called a mock Beit Din competition or a moot Beit Din competition. Kind of like a moot court competition, that they were given a case that they had to be a Beit Din, they had to be a court of rabbinic judges for, and they were given texts from the Torah, sources from the Torah and from the Talmud and from later codes of Jewish law, and they had to present a case on, they had to write a paper about the case that they were asked, about the question that they were approaching. And the question that they were asked was a case of a self-driving car that had caused an accident, that had been an accident and hurt somebody. And the question was, who was responsible? Was anyone responsible for the damages? Who had to pay the medical bills? And the kids had no experience with Talmudic law, and it wasn't a particularly familiar section of the Torah to them, but they really wanted to win when they got into it. And they worked really hard to prepare a case based almost entirely on Parshat Mishpatim, on this parsha in the Torah, presenting the case of the self-driving car as being similar to the case of the ox that caused damage, and they presented it to the judges in this competition. He came in fourth, which I wasn't thrilled about at the time, but I give the kids a whole lot of credit for what they did. But it was such a phenomenal experience, both to take kids and work with them on Talmudic sources, but also to take these sources, these texts that are written in a very different society, in a very different time. Most of us don't own oxen in our backyards, we own dogs, but to take this case and to apply it to something that they might see around them. And obviously, self-driving cars have become much more realistic even since then. And I love that activity because it showed us how we understand Torah, how we look at Torah. The Torah is written in a particular time and place and reflects it entirely. And that's never more clear than when you look at a law code that describes how people live, what kind of disputes they got into with each other. But the trick of studying Torah, of studying Jewish tradition, is to take these ancient texts, these ancient sources, and ask not so much the specific details that may or might not still pertain to us, but to look at the spirit behind them, to look at the main point. What is it that we get out of these? How is the spirit of this law still applicable today? What do we learn from it? And Parshat Mishpatim is the beginning of a long system of Jewish legal interpretation, of understanding the way our ancestors lived and how they interacted with each other, but also how as Jews we continue to face the world, how we deal with situations that come up with us. Marcy, you look like you want to say something. Very much. That's the entire idea of justice, is what is fair between two people who have a dispute with each other. What is fair to both parties, to both the person who's the perpetrator and the person who might be the victim. And that's very much in the spirit of what these laws are about. So tomorrow, as we read Parshat Mishpatim, we're transported back to ancient Israel and to a very different time and place. But we imagine, what does each one of these laws ask us to do today? Shabbat Shalom. Continue with Mariv, the evening service, on page 39. Please rise for the Baruch Hu.
Baruchu et Adonai HaMivorach. Baruch Adonai HaMivorach le'olam va'ed. Le'olam va'ed. Yalalai.
May be seated. Blessed are you, Lord our God, creator of the universe, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from before the light.
Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdir ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzevaot shemo, el chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu, leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Hamari v'aravi.
Amen. We continue on page 40.
Ahavat olam eti shalomcha, hafta Torah u'mitzvot u'mishpatim. Yehem chagenu ve'orach yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla, ve'vat chatzas mimenu li'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, אוהב עמו ישראל, שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
42.
ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Moses, Miriam, and the people of Israel joyfully sang this song to you, Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, top of page 44.
מלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם, משה ומרים ובני ישראל לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם. Let's join together. מי כמוך? מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, נורא תהילות, אוסף אלה מלכותך. ראו בניך בוקע הים לפני משה, זאלים ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, נורא תהילות, אוסף אלה. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני כל ישראל.
Amen. Allow us, our God, to sleep peacefully and awaken us again to life. Remove from us enemies, pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow. Blessed are you who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people Israel, and over Jerusalem. The nighttime prayer, Hashkivenu, page 45.
Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu, Adonai, Eloheinu, leshalom, leshalom. Hashkivenu, Adonai, Eloheinu, leshalom, leshalom, ve'ha'amidenu, malkei join together. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Lishalom, Behamidenu Malkeinu Lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Lishalom, Behamidenu Malkeinu Lechaim. Ushmor tzitenu voinu lechayim u'leshalom, me'ata v'ad olam, ufros alim sukat shlomecha, baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
Page 46, please rise.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות המרית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות המרית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות המרית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות המרית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות המרית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות המרית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל. בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, יתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי קודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא אמרו אמן.
We spend the next few moments in silent prayer, the words of the Amidah, beginning on page 47.
When you've completed your Amidah, you may be seated. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru amen, ve'imru amen, yaseh shalom al kol yoshvei tevel.
We continue on page 54, Kaddish Shalem.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועמד יברח חירותי ומחמחותי בחיי חונה ומחונה בחיי תורו בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה, יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויבר בתרומה וינשא ויתעזר ויצלח ויצלח שמי נקודשה בריחו, לעילם מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעמה ואמרו אמן. תתקבל צלותנו באותן זוכי ישראל קדם, אבוהן וישמעי ואמרו אמן. ישתמר רב אמין שמעי וחיימלין וכל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן.
Amen. Page 55, please rise for the Kiddush. We call Noah back to the Bima. And I want to invite any kids who'd like to join me up for Kiddush to come on up here.
I don't care if you don't mind. He's fine. They love the bat mitzvah.
Sounds like you a lot, I guess. You guys go.
Does anybody want grape juice? You want grape juice? Yeah, the rabbi has grape juice if you want. Grape juice? No? You want some? Right here.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushani b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron lema'aseh bereshit. Ki hu yom tehila lemikra'e kodesh. Zecher letziat mitzrayim. Ki banu bacharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim. Ve'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Amen. L'chaim.
Shar Kochech to Noah. We continue with Aleinu, page 56.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצון, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגבי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו העליון, מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום להשיבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, השמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחתינו. הכתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
May be seated. Turn to the Mourner's Kaddish, page 58. This week we mark the yortzites of Betty Spiesman Lipman, Carolina Maurer, Louis Abramovitz, Mildred Goldfarb, Moses Jaffa, Robert Blenner, Willa Miller, Adele Heaney, Helen Levine, Milton Worth, Andrea Fisher Seitel, Jacob Kesselman, Max Rubin, Ruth Bernbach, Albert Sands, Anna Klein, Arthur Frank, Dave Goodman, Dorothy Breaker Candless, Esther Jacoby, Ira Meiselman, Jacob Bergen, Loretta Dans Kalin, Max Bressman, Reba Silverstein, Ann Levinson, Bessie Wallace, Donald Langman, Jane Brink, Lillian Berman, Max Grill, Paul Goldfarb, Augusta Wallman, Sertel Shapiro, Irving Greenman, Isidore Monosoff, Israel Reese, Lorraine Peck, Lucille Gross, Mary Hochfeld, Morris Hochfeld, Samuel Goldberg, Selma Zander, Anna Silber, Betty Friedman, Frida Myers, Frida Spire, Mary Ruff, Sadie Starr, Tovia Fuchs, Bertha Grossman, David Goldberg, Ethel Mess, Erwin Burak, Isidore Shanwald, Jack Aschendorf, Lily Gore, Malachi Tomos Roderick. We also are in the period of Shloshim, a number of people who passed recently. This Shabbat, we remember Fern Jacobs, Elaine Dobbs, Cantor Leon Lissick, and Ellen Dibner. Page 58, I invite those in mourning or marking a yahrzeit to rise and join me in the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Yalmad, Yivarach, Yerutei, V'yamlich Malchutei, V'chayechon, V'yomechon, V'chayei, D'chol Beit Yisrael, V'agala, U'vizman Kariv, V'yimru, Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevorach, Le'olam Olamei Omaya, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnasei, V'yithadar, V'yit'aleh, V'yit'halal, Shemei D'Kudshah, B'richu, Le'ela Min Kol Berchata V'shirata, Tush Bechata V'nechemata, Tamiran, Ma V'yimru, Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru, Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mromav, V'yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel V'yimru, Amen. May be seated. Representing the Temple Israel Board of Trustees, I call on Margaret Musa.
Congratulations and welcome to the Skarbnik family on Noah's Bat Mitzvah. We look forward to celebrating with you tomorrow morning. We have lots of amazing programs over the next few weeks, so mark your calendar for these upcoming events. Our Purim Spiel and celebration is on March 2nd at 6 o'clock, and this year's theme is K-pop Haman Fighters. A reminder that Wodi is having their Golden Era Bingo with Bunny this Sunday, February 15th at 1 o'clock, and if you forgot to register and you'd still like to attend, you can email the women of templeisrael@gmail.com. Join prime timers for a dinner and a movie on Wednesday, February 18th. Dinner is at 6 o'clock at Jade Dragon, followed by For the Love of a Woman at 7:30 at the Living JCC. On Friday, February 20th, still invites you to Remembrance and Resilience, a program with Dr. Alan Yamamoto. He will be sharing his family's experience of Japanese-American internment during World War II. And then join the Men's Club for the annual Great Hamantashen versus Lotke debate. It's going to be on Tuesday evening, February 24th at Temple Beth El. And we are also excited to welcome Jordan Gorfunkel as our scholar in residence for a special weekend, February 27th through March 1st. He is an award-winning storyteller, cartoonist, and former creative lead on Batman. And Gorf brings Jewish storytelling to life in dynamic and inspiring ways. For more information on any of these events, of course, you can always visit the Temple Israel website. Thank you to the Skarbnik family for generously sponsoring this week's Kiddush and celebration of Noah's Bat Mitzvah. We're very grateful for your support. And also thank you to the Men's Club and the Temple Israel Religious School for another successful worldwide rap event. We are so grateful for the time, care, and commitment that you bring to our community. And Shabbat Shalom to everyone.
Thank you, Margaret. Turn back to page 5 as we conclude Kabbalat Shabbat with the words of Shalom Aleichem. Tomorrow morning, Shabbat services at 9:30 a.m., including the Bat Mitzvah of Noah Skarbnik.
Shalom Aleichem Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Ay, 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 Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Nil Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Nil Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, ay, 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 Tzidchem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.